in it too.
Getting started. Let's see here.
Oh, that's cute.
Oh, I put. So if you go in there, I put 3 seconds in between messages. That would give us time. That's why that notice is there. Okay. Getting everything set up. All right. And this is recording and it will be there regardless. So I'm talking to people that will watch this later to let them know that we were getting stuff set up, Mr. Pickens. Welcome, y'all. Welcome to, Pickens Realities for real in a whole nother kind of way.
Outtakes.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that what they call them in the movies?
Where's your live at on this one? Are you on YouTube Studio when you go live?
Yeah. Yes. It is in there. Can you hand me my phone? Right there, please.
That's probably.
Well, and we'll give it a couple minutes, and whether or not anyone joins, we are going to have the conversation regardless and hope that folks pop in and out and join us for the conversation.
Remind me what we're talking about again.
We're talking about why.
We're talking about why what?
We are talking about the question of, can a single parent play both roles? So this was triggered by, right. So, and the fact that, when you think about, when you think about, how does a blended family come to be? So like the promo reel, the sneak peek that we posted today, that was the topic of the conversation. Like that was the conversation. The question that premiered, if you will, was in the comment that I was making. We were discussing that from my perspective, people say, "Oh, I'm the mama and the daddy." When no, you can't. You can think you're playing both roles, but the reality is that I'm a woman. I can't be a dad.
Well,
I'm not.
And I think you run into a lot of, in my experience, when I was, single with 3 children, you run into those situations where I was trying to date, and I was finding, and I can think of one relationship in particular. This young lady had a son also, and she was playing both roles. She's like, I'm the breadwinner, I'm the disciplinarian, and so her child had to get accustomed to having a mom be the disciplinarian, or vice versa, because that happens in families. But it was just a interesting dynamic to meet her and to see how she operated. So the thing that I think we would have an issue with is, when you do get with somebody, how do you unpack that? Because we've talked before about, you were a nurturer and I was not, and how you integrate those, because I kind of had to be both. But that's not that I took on the role as a mom. I still had to show compassion as best as possible to them. So it's a slippery slope. And I recall some other times that I was dating, not that I was out there in the streets like that, but some other times that I dated, I would often hear because women were like, "Oh, you have your kids," and I'm like, "Yeah," but they were like, "I can be their mom." And I'm like, "No, they have a mom. I'm looking for someone for me," and so people automatically think, or the circle that I was in, they automatically thought there was a need for a mom when there wasn't. And I know that was a long way around, but
But the question at hand that we're talking about is essentially, when you're a single parent,
mhm.
right? And you're saying, yeah, you have to fulfill the responsibility of both roles, but people, the way that it came up in the episode, which is going to drop tomorrow at 5 o'clock on Thursday the 21st, and we really were talking about, the overall premise of this episode is loyalty conflicts, if I recall, Jayla, right? And we were talking about, how how you come to be in a blended family, contributes to how you act once you get there. And talking about the fact that, for instance, so I was a single parent, so I relied heavily on like assistance from my sister, my brother-in-law, my mother to help me with my son, because his father was not, when I moved away from Chicago, his dad, we were in a different city, and there just was not a regular, consistent, healthy co-parenting foundational relationship there. So his bio dad was not fulfilling the role of being a constant, regular part of parenting and being his dad. And so, but I would never say, "Oh, I'm the mom and the dad." Like there are some people that go, "I'm the mom and the dad and the this," and Happy Father's Day to me. And so
Yeah,
my point,
I've heard that. I've heard that.
and so the point that
I've even said Happy Mother's Day to me.
well, correct. And so my point is, but like even in the reel, right? So the snippet that we posted was me saying your dad was not your mama, so and you've joked before, and I'll be like, no, 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 because
I
at
mean,
the end of the
I
day, in
did
my
get
opinion,
Mother's Day cards. I'm just saying.
well, in my opinion, it's like, you know,
Well, I mean, I hear you, but I almost have to agree to disagree because it's what I said. And again, I guess it depends on the makeup of the person, but there has to be, for me, a degree of compassion as a single parent. You've got to flip that switch to compassion at some point. You can't just be extremely regimented. And I know people that are like that.
but what we're talking about, it's as a single,
And hold on,
it's
and let me clarify. Guys can be compassionate and moms can be the disciplinarian. I don't want people to think that it's one sided. So I just wanted to clear that up. But go on.
no, but what I'm saying is the premise of what we're trying to discuss is when you are a single parent,
Mm-hmm.
some people feel like they yes, you when you don't have a choice, you have to navigate the responsibilities and challenges of that household on a daily basis
I
when
got
there's
that.
no one else there. But saying I'm the mama and the daddy, right? Like if you try to own being the end all be all, and what my comment was and what I'm saying is that no, I can't be the dad. I'm the mom. I'm a female. There are things that I had a son. My son, I was a single mom of a son. There were things, albeit as I tried, as hard as I tried to meet his every need, there were things that he went through that I could not understand and relate to as a female and as a mom.
That's fair. That's fair.
And so me trying to say, "Oh, I'm everything. I'm the mom and the dad." My point is that in my opinion, and it's a strong one, and everybody's entitled to their own opinions, right? I don't think that that's a healthy thing to do, because it's just, how do you do? I wasn't the mom and the dad. I was the mother who was having to fulfill the daily responsibilities, and needs of my son when I was a single parent for those 5+ years. When I separated from his father, we were never married, but we lived together. So he had his two parents in the household. And then when we separated and it was just me before I met you and before we got married, that wasn't there. Yet did he spend time with his dad now and again? Yes. Did I call his dad now and again and go, hey, you need to talk to your son? Yes. But did I try to say, oh, I'm everything? You see what I mean? That's the question. And
I hear exactly what you're saying. I mean, I think again that it can go either way, but
what do you mean you think it can go either way? How is that?
Because it depends on how it. So something that you said was, dang it left me now. Goodness, you were talking about upbringing. You were talking about upbringing.
Mm-hmm.
So to your point, different strokes for different folks. So it depends on how you were brought up for you to be able to deal with a single parenting situation. So if you were raised by a single parent, then 9 times out of 10, you're going to take your methodology from how you were raised. And so, my mom is just like your mom. They're both very strong-willed women.
Right. But my mom never took the disposition, oh, I'm the mama and the daddy.
Well, I can't say that she did or did not.
No, I'm saying she didn't. So,
right.
And she didn't try. That role was just void in our house. Does that make sense? It's not like I'm the mama, so there's.
So again, I think it could go either way, because again, it depends on how you were raised and how you're built. Not that I ever took on that disposition per se, but again, you're trying to fill the role in a sense.
Well, the responsibilities, right? So
responsibilities,
which I'm saying there's a difference. So if you look at it from that perspective, because the premise of, okay, we're our main topic of conversation is about blended families, right? And so and helping people understand, how do you, if you didn't get it on the front end, which I would guess to say most people like us did not, right? And because there just is not prevalent conversations out there about how to prep before you blend. Like we are talking about, we're going to do some teaching on that. How do you walk into a blended family situation in a healthy manner, right? So let me finish my thought before. So hold that. So the premise of this topic, which again, when the episode drops tomorrow, people watch part 1 and part 2, they can see kind of what the context built around it. But it's when you're going, okay, a lot of blended families result from one or both of the adults having had a time period of being a single parent. For us, we both were, but I had never been married. You had. And so you want to turn the sound off of that. And so if you're operating from a place of, oh, I got this on lock and I can do it all by myself and I'm the mama and the daddy, the point of this conversation is, one, is that really truly feasible in reality? Having to take on the responsibilities of both roles, yes. But then where does that leave you when you are walking into a blended family marriage?
I'm glad you went there. My thought was, thinking about the reel that I saw before this next episode airs, you and Jayla were having a conversation about this actual subject.
That's what prompted the live here.
Okay, so my point for this was, Jayla started making a face, and she was like, or you said, "Don't you do it? Don't you go there?" And
because she says it all the time.
What?
You'd say all the time that you the daddy and the mama. You make jokes and references that you are Izzy's mama and daddy, and I say to you all the time, no, you're not.
Okay,
because you can't be.
So that's not where I was driving. So I didn't realize that's where you were.
That was the context of it.
But what I thought about when you said that about the integration, I thought about you and I. Here we go. So I remember when we first got together, you were so used to doing everything.
Correct.
You were so used to doing everything. It was hard for me to infiltrate.
Like it was a fortress.
Yeah, it was. It was hard for me to infiltrate. handling the finance, grocery shopping. It was hard for me to get into that tough exterior because you have been doing it all for so long.
Yeah.
So I think you might be the example, whether or not you identify it as I'm the mom and the dad, you quote unquote take on that persona per se, because then when people come in and try to fill that space,
it's hard.
It's hard.
It's hard to give it
So
up.
I remember a good friend of ours, we were at a barbecue one day and you and I had a rift about something. And I can't recall what it was, but I recall what they said. And they said to you, they said, if God sent you that man to lead you, then you need to let him lead. And so somebody's trying to get in, I think.
You don't have to be let in. People can just join.
They were asking about the login, is what it looked like. But yeah, I think you have to be willing to find yourself vulnerable to be able to, not vulnerable, let the walls down to allow someone in to pick up that space that you have filled for the sake of, or in the process of being a single father or a single parent. So
I mean, that's the point of that. That's the point that why I said my disposition is that you can't fill both roles.
mm-hmm.
And I think distinguishing between how you define role and then the responsibilities that come along with that role. Yes, you have to. Okay, I don't know what's going on.
You have to what?
You have to then also, you have to figure out how are you going to navigate that, right? So when I'm a single parent, figuring out how do I fulfill, I'm one person,
Mm-hmm.
but how do I fulfill the responsibilities that usually there are two people there doing? So again, it's not that I don't understand the context or where people are coming from when they go, well, I'm the mama and the daddy, you know, and that's why I'm simply saying that what I learned the hard way is that one, I'm a female, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, you know, and before I was a wife, I was still a female and a mom. And so for me, and we've talked a lot about, you know, I very pro independent woman in a healthy way and manner. And what I mean by that, don't me. What I mean by that is
Yeah.
Whoever was trying to get in said something about the link on Facebook. I'm just trying to tell you. Anyway, carry on.
Okay, y'all, we gonna hold. I don't know how.
That's YouTube, just Facebook.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying you don't have to let people in. It's alive. They just they just
keep it moving.
Join.
So you were talking
So
about how
I'm saying
you were not
that
overbearing woman.
No,
Is that what you said?
I'm saying I understand the context why people say it, because when you're having to take on the responsibilities of two people, when you're one person and you're having to fill those responsibilities, I get the notion of people having that disposition that, oh, I'm the mom and the dad, right? However, at the end of the day, I'm suggesting, and what I learned and why my opinion is no, you cannot play both roles. You might have to assume the responsibilities or figure out other people to help you take care of those responsibilities. But my disposition and my opinion is no, I was never the mom and the dad. I'm just the mom. I can't be the dad.
Yeah. So as you're saying that, I thought about immediately the Boys and Girls Club came into mind, because you have single moms in theory that drop off their single boys drop off their male children to an organization like that to get the male interaction, and the same conversely for single parents that have little girls, dropping them off, or Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, so that they can get that male bonding and hope to be shifted in the right direction.
Give us some questions about whether or not you think, give us your opinion on whether or not you think you can be a mom and a dad as a
Yeah.
single parent.
And I was going to ask you, Jayla, how you, because I know playingly in jest, you say it all the time, but how do you feel about, being a single parent? Yeah. How do you feel about it?
I mean, to be completely honest, I feel like being a single parent has become a norm. It's not really like the greatest thing. But I also feel like it's so much toxicity, especially in our generation, with
Good
like
word.
social media.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's trauma bonding. Everybody think that being toxic is cute, fun, and okay. Me personally, if Isabel dad was or wasn't in her life, in my personal opinion, I feel like people shouldn't be worrying about the other party. As long as you making sure you're doing what you got to do as a parent, that's all that matters. And like, yeah, I joke around about like Isabel's dad died in Afghanistan in World War One, but at the end of the day,
Two separate
she'll
things,
never.
but okay.
That's the.
I
irony
know,
in it.
I know.
But she'll never ever be lacking anything. So I feel like, yeah, I know I can't be her dad, but at the same time, I know she won't be lacking. So
Well, that's what I'm saying. My
Okay.
point is a responsible. If you're a single parent and a responsible person, you're going to do all that you can to figure out how to address the gap, right? And so, yeah, when I was a single parent, if one person having to pay the bills, make sure there's groceries, figure out how to pay for extracurricular activities, et cetera, that's what you have to do. But the premise is that you're taking on, you're forced to, if you don't have if the other parent is not involved, or the co-parenting relationship doesn't exist, is not healthy, is high conflict, etc., then having to take on those responsibilities is one thing. My point though is drawing a line of delineation and going, I'm doing all I can to make sure that my child or children have what they need as a single parent, but I'm just the mom. I'm not going to roll around saying, oh, I'm the mom and the dad. You see what I'm saying?
No, I go
because
back to
and taking on, in my opinion, taking on that mindset further complicates the things that you have to untangle if and when you do enter into a marriage and now you're part of a blended family. There's enough to untangle without having to break down barriers. Like you said, it was a challenge.
I mean, but without having to be the mom and the dad, I feel like you still, like, it's still stuff that you're gonna have to break down as far as disciplinary action. I mean, in my personal opinion, that really be the main thing about a blended family, is how you discipline and handling my kid.
That's not just the main thing. That's one of the main things. I mean, that's the but biggest, there's a lot of
that's the biggest thing. That
roles and responsibilities altogether.
Well, yeah, but like, if okay, for example, if you were Charlie and Charlie was you, and the tables are turned, and now you done married Charlie, and now you like, I'm not gonna let this man talk to my kids or be around my kids, and now it's everybody's tweet. Like, I feel like the biggest thing is really like who's around your kids or whatever. But regardless, I feel like there has to be a balance. I know you can't create a man as a woman. You can't make a man out of a man as a woman, but you can show them how to treat women. You can show them how to be an upstanding citizen.
Oh, absolutely. That's the balance, though. So that's the balance.
Can I say something?
You do listen.
Okay, all right. So I was gonna go there. So that's very good, because I have seen instances, and I'm thinking of a few people that I know, where the mom tried to play the father figure and it didn't go so well, because the information that the child was given did not prepare them of did not prepare them how to be a man and how to deal with conflict resolution or have conflict resolution.
But that's, in my personal opinion, that's emotional immaturity on the mom's part.
But if we go back, how was she raised?
Right.
What
but
information did she get?
All of this is a choice. All of this is a choice. You wake up and choose every day what you wear. You wake up and choose every day if you want to brush your teeth or not, if you want to get in the shower, if you want to do your hair. It's all a choice. I was literally just having a conversation about this. It's a choice that mugs wake up every day and do sports betting, even though you know you're gonna lose. It's a choice.
It
so
is,
you
but
choose
sometimes
to get through
people
your traumas because you choose to do so.
Yeah, but sometimes you don't. If you haven't been exposed to certain things, you don't know what realm of choices may exist, and that's because
again, it's a choice. If I see at that park that I'm trying to get over that hill, and I feel like my only option is to get over that hill, let me go around. Let me make the choice to see if it's another option. People be lacking situational awareness, self-awareness, emotional awareness, and their kids suffer. And that's why I feel like the mama daddy, I'm the mama and the daddy situation comes about. I don't feel like you have to be the mom and the dad. You're your role, but have emotional intelligence. Teach your kids emotional intelligence.
But a lot of people may not.
Come here, Pookie Butt.
This is live.
But so the reality is, though, a lot of times you may not be able, if you don't know better, you can't do better. And so there are certain things that, and to your point, situational awareness also is you know what you see until you're exposed to something different, right? And so, like we said, we were both raised by single parents, and so having that perspective and concept of, how my mom raised us was, you can do anything, you don't need a man. We talk, what I'm saying? She and Teresa and I talk about this, on the episode where Mom and Teresa were on, and we talk about it just in real life and understanding that it's not that she was her intent was to do good. It was to try to teach us that we can be strong, particularly coming off of an era where women were fighting for so many rights, et cetera, et cetera. But when you swing that pendulum, like so severely the other way, and now you take it and say, you don't need a man for anything. That's where the rub comes in. But if you grow up and that's what you see, that's what you've been trained, that's what's ingrained. That was another reason for the power struggle between you and I. There was multiple things, right? So that's the point of the conversation is,
so y'all saying that's why I be the way I
life layers.
So something you just said brought me back to my childhood, saying that a person is programmed to say, I don't need a man or I don't need a woman. And I can recall my mom, this residue carries over to this day, but my mom programming my sisters to say or to think they don't need a man.
That's right.
They could do everything by themselves. And so maybe that was old school. I don't know.
No, it was survival and feminist, because the old school is the man is the provider. So you go through these, there's these generational phases, if you will. And so what I'm saying is that finding the right balance and being okay with what's the right role and the right responsibility. And in today's world, it even gets a bit more topsy-turvy. So you go from, back in the day, the man was the provider. Most women stayed home. They were stay-at-home moms. They took care of the family. The lanes and roles where, that was the woman's job primarily. They didn't, a lot of women didn't work, etc.
Men have become extremely, the word is not desensitized, basically femininized. How do you say the word?
I don't know what word you're trying to say. So
they've almost been castrated in a sense.
That's a strong word.
And
that's a strong word.
Which in my opinion has caused problems.
So now I gotta be the mama and the daddy, because the daddy wanna be the uncle, cousin, sister, friend, brother, friend, sister.
What? I'm like, what is going on? There's a lot wrapped up in that, but
I'm just saying, like, a lot of, you were just saying gender roles were specific. And
Mhm.
now gender roles are not specific because now, oh, I have to watch what I say.
Well, no,
Men nowadays would rather a woman take care of them than them take care of a woman.
so I and this has been years ago. I ran into a situation where there was a young man that I was mentoring. Um, his brother clued me in on to some challenges that they were having in the home. And so I was mentoring him. So I went to the home after the brother clued me in. I went to the home to have a conversation because he said his dad was there. So I wanted to find out how could I help and get the backstory.
Mhm.
Well, when I got there, the dad was there playing video games, and they were married. His mom and dad were married. They had two sons. I was mentoring the older son. The younger son gave me the information. I went to go talk to the dad. He was in the house playing video games. His wife had 3 jobs. And so, and here's the kicker. The young man, the older son that I was mentoring was in junior high school. He ran the house.
Yeah, that's a lot of school.
Mine's gonna have to get.
So what I'm saying is she was the breadwinner, didn't know how to be the disciplinarian, didn't have support. And that's a
Right.
whole nother dynamic, but I'm just saying
But that speaks to what we're talking about, which is
single in a marriage. That's being a single mother in a marriage. Again, you got to be the mama in the
well, and
niggas want you to take care of them.
It's a lot of also role reversal, depending, so figuring out the right roles and responsibilities and who has what role and what responsibility, like that's the common denominator from the perspective of that's one of the foundational, to your earlier point about who's handling discipline in a blended family. Because again, the whole premise of, okay, how do you go, what are people's thoughts on being a single parent and what that means? Because then how do you take that and how does that translate into your behavior and in how you, what you have to think through, process through, contemplate, figure out prior to becoming a blended family, and how does that play into how things go once you get married? Because if I'm in mindset of, like you said, again, we go back to I not only was me doing everything my defense mechanism because I had been let down. You know what I mean?
I couldn't get a loaf of bread. I couldn't open a can of peaches.
Stop it.
What you over there in that
right. Put them rice and beans.
Too come.
But so the whole point is talking to folks and going, listen, these are things that you need to think about. These are things because I knew I wanted to be married. When I was a single parent, I knew I wanted to be married, but there was no one talking about, hey, single parents, people with kids that want to be married either for a first time or again.
Yeah,
here are some things that you need to start working through and contemplating to prepare yourself to have a better chance and to have a healthier foundation as a blended family.
And so I think as you're saying that, I'm thinking about the transformation that needs to happen. You have to deprogram yourself. And, we do
what do we say? For counseling?
Yeah, I was like, marriage, you do marriage counseling at the beginning so that you can prepare.
What's the importance of marriage counseling? Because some people don't feel like it would.
Oh, it's a lot. So first of all, even before you get to marriage counseling, though, what I'm suggesting, had I encountered anyone having any of these types of conversations as a single person, I would have been working on this for myself.
That's where I was going.
In advance.
When you get to a church or when you get to a church or whatever, you're going to.
Who are you saying hi to?
Takia.
When you get to a church, you're going to have those marital counselings if you're just a regular.
Oh,
family.
there's a lot of people that have when they're not in a church.
Just stay with me.
Saying.
So you're having this conversation.
Takia, do you think you could be the mom and the dad as a single parent?
We want your comments.
you're having a conversation about with your marriage counselor about how things or what you need to do. So you have to, marriage counselors need to help prep and unpack, and people have to be aware of their challenges so that they can create a better bond. Because if you go in with the walls up and not wanting to let them down, so like the issues that we had were, no, I need to run the money, no, I need to do this, I need to do that, and if you recall, for a minute I fell back.
Yeah,
because I'm like, if you
it's too much of a fight.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not gonna fight you, because watch this, I did it without you. Why am I fighting to try to help you? You know, you did it without me, I did it without you. And if you're not careful, you start dividing.
So what is your advice for a single mama like me, like quite literally like me, that one, I'm not about to just accept anything from anybody, and I do everything on my own, and I will call my dad before I call you. What's your, and even if you don't have that dad, I will call someone else before I call you.
So that's based on how you were raised. You're raised to have someone that's independent, someone that's gonna have your back, someone that's gonna do things. So again,
but she's been raised, but she's been in a family since, in this setting, since she was 5, and she's seen us work together. I haven't. What you side eyeing for?
Okay, so then
I didn't call people to do stuff instead of calling you.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
So
right. Yeah, a lot of the young men that I deal with
so wait,
would rather call and pay the fee than do it themselves.
Remember,
which
said
is
I
okay though.
Build a house in the backyard.
Right. I don't want somebody that don't know how to put a wood floor down, because if I'm building a house, I want to cut costs.
But but that's not every time, right?
So what is
that's been my every time.
In your opinion, what do you think it is?
No, well, look, you gave your answer. She asked, what is she supposed to do? Right? And so
what am I supposed to do as a single mom?
I think,
like,
well, one,
letting somebody in.
You have to be aware. And so, yeah, do you need to have standards? Absolutely. You're not just gonna have, any old body that you're going to automatically just entrust with your child, your life, your livelihood, right? So typically, if it's a traditional situation where there's not kids involved and it's just you putting yourself at risk, it's totally different when you have kids involved and now your kids are at risk, all sorts of risk, emotional hurt, physical risk, the whole financial risk.
I don't bring people around my family.
Which is why. So again, number one, you having a higher standard, that's okay. Mm-hmm. But you getting to that's appropriate. Even understanding that when you're a single parent, or if you are like if you were never married, or regardless of how you wound up in your situation, right? If you have your boundaries. That's right. It's all day, it's boundaries. Oh. And it is, how do you as a single person then, Jayla, but if you know you want to be married, you have to be cognizant of, how do I walk in this role now while I have total responsibility, but also have standards so that any individual that I'm willing to consider mm-hmm. as a potential husband, mm-hmm. here are the things that need to be put together, to a X degree. Nobody's perfect. We all know this. Like, you can, whether people make a list and all that kind of stuff, that's up to each individual. But the reality is, do some boxes need to be checked for it to be?
How long do the boxes need to be checked? Because that's the problem. I find people that check the boxes getting checked. I'm like, okay, I'm getting the number 5. Mm-hmm. And then it's like the time goes by and now the boxes is getting erased. Because what is happening? Mm-hmm. Like, I know you have to have a spirit of discernment with who you're dealing with, but wolves can be in sheep's clothing.
Well, yeah,
the snake was on a tree.
You know a tree by the fruit it bears. And there's people can only fake and facade for so long.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, being as a single person, as a single parent, so and if you're single and you're dating someone that has kids, you may not have kids. They may have kids, but having someone that being able to prepare yourself mentally as a single parent who desires to enter into a blended family situation, you need to start working on your mindset and understanding what is the comfortable, correct role, responsibility, and lane for you that you can do consistently long term. Does that make sense? Because I would have drove him away had I not. It was a battle for a while.
I was in the car with a bag.
Literally. You're a martyr.
Lord Jesus. And so why you gotta bring that up? I don't know why you gotta bring that up. So, but at the end of the day, if you know your habits and how you roll are going to drive the person away that you say you want to be married to, because you are still operating as a single person, you've got to figure that out.
I don't mind operating as a person that's in a relationship, but you got to give me something to allow me to do that. So sometimes I often feel like I'm gonna be the mom dad forever, because I feel like sometimes my standards are too high. And it's like, I know like God will send me someone that will be the person I need and all the things, right? But it's just like,
okay, Malachi, y'all, that's our poor dog. Going on. Yeah, this is life for real. Y'all, it's life for real.
No, but it's also like, I want to be soft. I yearn to be soft. It is so annoying to be the strongest brother in the house.
You are not the brother. Quit saying that.
The strongest son, you see the elite athlete, the best at everything. It's hard. It's hard to have to. I want to learn from my person. I want to be able to have an ease of mind when you say you want to take my baby out for an ice cream date. I don't, and I'm so attached to my kid. Because we're not doing ice cream.
You brought it up.
We're not doing ice cream. But like, I'm so attached to my baby. She's talking about a Lunchable. That's what she calls for. But I'm so attached to my baby, and I feel like wait. I'm so scared for, like, for example, with my ex, right? It's hard to be the Beyonce in the family. Exactly.
Who said that? Takia.
No, but
Isabel, come here. Is come see Gigi. You don't want to come see Gigi? You're tired.
It's hard to allow myself to loosen the reins. One, when everybody's crazy, and
everybody's not crazy.
Well, the way the world is going, you got to side eye everybody now.
So, I mean, you have to use precaution.
It's hard to loosen the reins when, like you said, you've been doing stuff for so long. But it's like, I yearn to do that, and I feel like that's also the other reason why I get sucked in so quickly to people.
I got you, because you're looking.
But as quick as I'm sucked in is as quick as my wall is built.
I think a lot of it is wisdom, and you honestly, when people show you who they are, believe them.
That's why I kick them to the door and they don't come over here.
So with that, and that's fine. But when you again, it's people can only facade for so long. You can't, you will know a tree by the fruit it bears. And
okay, you see that? Go ahead.
What is all of that?
There ain't no edits on this.
I'm like, so you will know a tree by the fruit it bears. And so, but at the same time, you also have to realize people are human. While I can play Jesus Jr. all day long, I make mistakes. People make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. But you can absolutely, like you said earlier, discern. You can discern, our word, discern, sense, your gut, whatever people want to call it.
Universe.
When people is on nonsense versus when it's like, okay, man, I missed it.
That's why I'm so no tolerant. That's why, like, the smallest thing, I feel like, it's time for me to go.
There's been a couple things that both of you have said. I mean, this is double.
Did Ernest have a comment?
I've been trying to get in for a minute.
Are you not going anywhere?
She's not going anywhere. We're doing this, then we'll go somewhere, okay?
We're not going nowhere but today. Baby.
Anyway, so the runway, I think, is what people miss. How long does it take? And you said it before, Jayla, and Jess, you hinted on it. How long does it take before you let the walls down?
Mm-hmm.
And that goes back to my earlier comment. You have to prepare yourself mentally. You have to be honest with yourself about where you are relationship wise when you are entering into a blended family. Because, and we've discussed this before, if you have been the strong hand with your children and you're a single parent, and the other person has been the strong hand with their children, when you come together, there's a conversation that needs to be had. Because if you have a male that's strong and you have a woman that's strong and they're both bringing, the iron fist, and it's in theory a man's job, and it's not necessarily, but I'm just using this as an example, a man's job to be that strong person. And like you said, Jayla, you yearn to be feminine. You yearn, to be.
Is that based on his hand moving or somebody else gave a thumbs down?
Somebody else.
They don't agree with me. Oh,
Talking about shut that up.
No,
but that's my perception, though. I'm just
no, I understand, but I think that's part of the problem. That's part of what we're trying to help people understand. That whole part right there, when
it was just an example.
no, I know, but I'm saying from the perspective of sticking, because discipline is the huge topic, like Jayla jumped off talking about, right? Like, but if you understand it with a blended family, those conversations need to be had up front as far as proper role and responsibility.
So we talked about that last week about slowing down, though.
Or you got to say out the gate, I'm going to handle discipline with my children. You're going to handle, because it all depends on how long is your runway. What, has each person connected with the bonus children or not? You can't if you jump, well, you can, because we did it and we know what it causes, right? If you start out disciplining people children that you don't have relationship with, that is not going to end well. Period.
Because this ain't no you at Target and you see a little bad boy.
It's not going to end well. And so it's not, again, that you can't come, what we're saying, coming from the traditional mindset and applying that straight up to a blended family it's not healthy, because there are too many dynamics that you need to sit down and be honest and be real about. You want a fruit snack, and be able to have conversations up front and lay those things out up front. The adults, before you confuse the bejesus out of the kids who are going, yo, I don't even like you. How you coming over here trying to whoop me?
And so
I don't even know.
Right, I don't even know you.
30
Right.
seconds.
I cannot with the two of you. So I think, again, people need to be honest with themselves. We used to say this all the time in my crew. Be honest with yourself first before you can be honest with them.
But so what we're giving people information to say, these are like, we didn't even know to talk and think about these things.
But that's what I'm saying. That's something that's important to know. I need to do an introspective look and say, hey, I understand that these are the challenges that I think are going to be an issue when we go into this relationship, because I'm so used to handling this, and that.
Well, and not even having to be a challenge. It's just, I think what we're trying to do is say, hey, blended families out there, or people who you're going to wind up in a blended family because you're a single parent, either whether you've been married or not, or you've got children and you still desire to be married to someone other than the biological parent of your children. So you're going to wind up in a blended family scenario. These are the things that nobody's talking about that should be considered, discussed, thought through, worked through as best as you can on the front end. But even if you're smack dab in the middle, if you just got married, if you've been married, it's okay to hit the pause button and go, whoa, we never even thought about that.
So the traditional things are credit, stability, where do we want to live? those are just a few of the traditional things. On the blended side, you got to worry about other sets of parents. On the blended side, you have to worry about other sets of grandparents. On the blended side, you have to worry about who's going where for holidays, not just to grandma or grandpa's, but which parent gets them on Thanksgiving, who gets them on Christmas, and for how long. So there's a multitude of things, like you're saying, that have to be
Okay,
thought
so
about.
boom. I'm single momming it.
Okay.
I meet someone.
How come you get to talk faster than I get to talk? But go on.
Huh?
No, never mind. Go ahead.
You can finish.
I'm done.
Okay, so boom. I'm single momming it. I meet someone at the gym. And this person becomes my person. Right? But I'm used to single momming it because my child's dad is not around. Right? What happens if me and this person gets married? What's the advice that you give? This kid ain't been around, but now that you're getting married, now he's trying to check up on the baby. And now you've already assumed the role to your significant other, your now significant other. So how do you deal with that?
So I think you need to make certain you don't want to have to wake up tomorrow when your child is 16, 17, 18 and face, why didn't you ever allow me to, my dad said this or my mom said this. Why did you close that door? I think we have to be adult enough to think about the children. Now, again, every scenario is different. If it's an abusive situation or, there's a multitude of reasons why potentially, but if let me say it this way, if your child's safety is at risk being with that other person, and that's one of the reasons that you left or not, then you have to consider what's the best thing for your child. Because when they grow up, you got to face the music on that. But if you have definitive reasons as to why, and you can tell your child, you can look them in the face and say, I didn't allow you to see mommy or daddy because they had this going on. That's my opinion.
Or mommy and daddy just wasn't there. So then.
Yeah, but if they try to enter at whatever point, you ain't got to do all that face making.
This is real life for me.
It is. If they try to enter and to your dad's point, as long as there is not a safety risk to your, you have to do all things with precaution because you don't want to put your children on an emotional yo-yo. And so we don't have the blueprint answers to, after 4 conversations with the parent, the bio parent who has not been involved, then you're good to go. Let him,
or her.
try. Well, in her situation, I'm talking about her situation, right? This is where, again, this is why we say we provide spiritual and practical tools, because for us, it's, you got to talk to Jesus about it, man, and be like, yo, Holy Ghost, what's going on? Like, so that you can discern, are they real or are they not? And, but do I believe in, you and I have had this conversation. I don't think it's right to just say, nope, I ain't never, ever. You ain't been around. I don't care what goes on.
I don't mind saying no, I don't never ever, because bro, people be trying to play you like you really a goofy. And my never ever is until my child gets to a point of being like, what's going on with this man? Where has he been at? Who is he? That's why I don't sit on the phone with you. I sit and text, so I have everything. And my child can see what type of time you was on and base her knowledge of herself. I'm not going to sit and feed her ear of he's negative, he's bad, he's terrible, he didn't want you, or anything good. I will let it be what it's going to be until you get to a point of asking questions yourself. And if you want to go find and seek, you can find and seek.
So then how does that play into your preparation for trying to blend into a family?
Because at this point, like, it would be completely different, in my personal opinion, if it was a situation where he was there, she knew about her other side of the family, and then he stopped being who he was, and she still has some form of attachment or whatever to his side of the family. Then I got to worry about Christmases and holidays and all that stuff. But it's just me. We are all she knows. So when I'm blending, I don't got to worry about him. The conversation will be had about this. She has a father, of course, because I'm not married, but she has a dad. He's not around, and that's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, but the point of your conversation, you originally asked, how do you navigate? You've been a single parent.
You're saying
her
you
dad
were
is
asking
not.
that?
Her dad has not been
if
involved.
he comes around when I'm gonna just be looking at him, and I'm going to pose the question. So, are you here for real? Or are you here for fake?
Okay, so then
We're adults.
So Isabel is now 10. She's yearning for, God forbid, say you're not married by the time she's 10. And she's yearning for that father figure, and boop, up pops dad. How are you gonna navigate that? And what time are we landing this plane?
It's 56 minutes in.
I'm right.
But
Anyway,
but I guess I would land the plane.
We're gonna get ready to land the plane in a few minutes.
Oh, if up pops dad,
Mhm.
I'm the landing the plane is
Okay.
okay. Hold on 1 second. The landing the
Almost
plane
done.
for me is pulling him
You wanna go
aside
get you a fruit snack?
because he's gonna try to walk
Go
through the
up there,
door
get
with
you
a
a fruit
present,
snack.
and I'm gonna pull you to the side. Is this for real or for fake?
Mhm.
Because what I don't want my baby. Yes. Walk upstairs and open the cabinet, and I'm gonna come. Don't be a liar. Don't be like me. No, but so I'm gonna pull him to the side. Is this for real or for fake? Because at the end of the day, my child deserves nothing but queen treatment. And if you are not at a place where you can give that to her, and whatever you feel like that is, at a consistent rate, you don't need to do this.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, again, we're adults, and the more I go on as an adult, the less I don't care about lying to nobody. Because who gonna whoop me?
Hold on, Pumpkin.
You know what I'm saying?
So we'll land the plane. You go get the fruit snacks.
At the end of the day, I mean, the question that we pose, and we're having a conversation about here is, is it as a single parent, is it possible to play both roles of mom and dad? And again, I still stick to, I think at the foundation of the conversation is delineating or, distinguishing between what a role is and what responsibilities are.
I think that's it.
And
That's
for
it.
me, the reason why in the episode, which y'all will see tomorrow, that drops at 5, why I was very passionate about my answer to Jayla, like, nah, man, like your dad was your dad. He wasn't your mama. Like you can't say I'm the mama and the daddy because you're not. I didn't make a baby by myself. When I was, my son had a father. I didn't know we weren't married. Tried to make it work. We're together, but then when we separated, I have to carry the responsibilities that he should have been assisting with? Absolutely, I did. Again, like you said, I chose to. There are people that don't, because there are kids that go without, whatever may have you. But for me, that's the piece. And so, but also recognizing and wanting people to know that when you do that, when you take on, in my opinion, if you assume I'm the mama and the daddy, and even when taking on the responsibilities to a place of you're protecting yourself, your kid, your kids, right? In a way, because things when it's not a 2-parent household, the balance, in my opinion, the natural balance that was intended, it takes a man and a woman to make a baby, and the natural balance of having a 2-parent household, when that's not there, that balance is not there. And I'm not saying that kids are not loved and whatnot, but there's definitely a difference. I've experienced a difference. My experience when I was a single mom versus when we got married, I appreciate and I'm grateful for going, whoa, there are certain things that I don't have to try to do and assume the responsibility of anymore, because I can surrender that responsibility to you because that's your role. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
It does. And we're just about out of time, but I'll say, like 4 things, 2 things, 3 things, and then hand it over to Jayla.
2 to 4 to 3.
And
Yeah.
I'll say
7, 8, 9, 10.
I'll say 7 to 8 to 6.
So I think what you said, as you said it, kind of summed all of this up as the fruit snacks crumble.
Right.
It summed it up for me. Roles and responsibilities. That's the crux of this entire conversation. Understand your roles and know what your responsibilities are. And I think, you'll get off to a good start. Jayla, take us home.
Well, you guys, we're going home. No, I'm kidding. I do
I'm
believe.
sorry, you're not going anywhere, Mommy.
She's not going anywhere.
Is that a comment on there?
Yeah.
You're not, so you're
actually
not
believe
gonna go.
I agree with this comment.
Mom, you're not going
Okay,
anywhere.
let me finish talking. Okay. So I agree with the comment of both roles are necessary. They're
Mhm.
vital.
Mom, I want
But just relax. Both roles are necessary and vital.
Meaning
you-
the role,
the
mother
role of the
role,
mother
father, and the
and the
role.
role of the
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Very vital, because there's things a mother can teach you emotion wise that your father can't. There's things your father can teach you hands on wise that your mother can't.
And emotion wise. It's both.
I mean, yeah, it's just
It's
a
not-
calamity of things, right? But a man's design is a man's design. A woman's design is a woman's design. As far as a single parent goes, I feel like as a single parent, you can literally only do the best you can. You can't assume any role except for who you are to your children.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the best course of action, if you're a single mom or a single dad, is to
Mommy, I'm gonna go potty.
okay, go potty, go down there, go potty.
Okay.
I feel like the best course of action for a single parent is to find your community and have a role model for a mom or a woman figure or a male figure, dad,
whatever is missing.
just to
whichever.
keep that balance.
Yeah.
Of course it's going to be hard. You're going to have your days, you're going to be crying and boo-hooing and all the things, but you can't be a man and a man can't be a woman.
Roles and responsibilities.
And so don't be hard on yourselves.
Agreed.
Allow yourselves to give
Grace.
grace to yourselves and be patient with yourselves, because everybody go through stuff, and some people wish they was going through what you was going through.
Yeah.
So the takeaway, and why we had this conversation, is to be able to encourage single parents that are out there, whether you're a single mom or a single dad. If your desire is to get married, which means you'll be entering into a blended family situation, i.e., two adults getting together, and either one or both of those adults have children, and you're bringing together a pre-existing family situation and creating a new one. Start thinking through some habits or learned habits that may even actually have morphed into kind of characteristics, if you've been doing them long enough, that because of being a single parent, you had to take on those responsibilities, but it may cause you challenges when you enter into a 2-parent dynamic and family situation. You may fight the surrender of what you no longer have to carry. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so our goal, and we didn't do it that way. We fought, we had issues. We had to navigate a lot of gnarly situations where, quite frankly, I did not relinquish things easily.
Nope.
Because it was defense mechanism for me. It was my protection.
Yep.
And you couldn't disappoint me or hurt me or mess it up if I didn't let you do it in the first place.
And I stopped.
You better clock that teeth.
And so, but that wasn't healthy, because it caused major issues because you felt the impact of what it meant was I didn't trust you.
Correct.
And so I implore anyone who's out there who you want to be married, you're a single parent, you want to be married, start thinking through this stuff and start doing some work on yourself, whether or not you're in relationship with someone you're considering for marriage or not. Start working on yourself is the whole point of this. You can do that now. You can start learning about, let me think about these dynamics, these challenges, these triggers that are going to present because I'm in a blended family situation and dynamic. Watch out, Funkin. And I'm no longer a single parent. So we hope that this conversation has been helpful. If it's helpful for just one person out there, can't nobody see you. You're gonna sit here, you playing with the doll. Then it was worth the time that we spent sharing our perspective and a little bit of our a little bit of our experience with you all. Start working on it now. Engage counseling, professional, licensed, clinical, licensed counseling now. We had a combination for years, still do, between professional, clinical counseling and spiritual. Wise spiritual counseling, people that you can trust. For us, that's our foundation. That's who we are.
And if you can't afford to go to church, and ask your pastor if he got time to talk. For real.
And there's free clinical services, y'all. There's FQACs. There's an ability to get to therapy and counseling, even if you don't have insurance and it may not be in the budget. There's ways to be able to find some resources so that you can get the help that you need to be working through stuff to just be healthier and be better prepared for marriage. The goal here is for us to aid in keeping families together and helping people become healthy before and during and if it is after, in a way that brings healing and wholeness. So thank y'all for joining. Thank you for watching.
Check us out where?
Like, comment, share, subscribe. Turn our post notifications on. Follow us on YouTube at Jessica Pickens Realities. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. We already on here.
Oh,
it's all the same. We got a prayer book, y'all.
Yeah. So
she's an author.
Inside voice.
If you go to jessicapickens.com, we do have the Strengthening Blended Families 30-day prayer prompt guide and prayer journal that is specifically meant to encourage blended families. From a scripture perspective, to be able to have topics that are specific to blended families that you can be contemplating and thinking about. Go to the website and you can click and get free gift and get the 30-day affirmation. We will be starting that journey tomorrow. I'll be saying that one per day. You want to do it too?
Yeah,
okay. You got to put it up here. You going to show them? All right. So you can go to the website and get Strengthening Blended Families 30-day prayer prompt guide. It's for sale on my website, jessicapickens.com. This camera's crazy. And second book is in the making. And then right now on Tuesday, so next Tuesday, that'll be posted. You can sign up for the free masterclass, Blended Family Pitfalls, the 10 biggest blended pitfalls of blended families, where we talk through the common areas that blended families usually encounter so that it can help you avoid those things. So we appreciate y'all.
Our fifth closing,
we
y'all.
Gonna take off and actually, hey, y'all got $5 spirit on the line.
All right. We appreciate y'all. Take care. We love y'all. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.